Hello, my pretties. You're probably wondering why I'm saying that. Well, I'm going to talk about Asbestos and the Wizard of Oz film. And you remember the Wicked Witch. That's why I'm wearing a witch's hat. And this hat has its little feet, as you can see. So that's the reason for my little costume here. I know Halloween's over, but I'm still celebrating it doing this video. So let's talk about asbestos in that Wizard of Oz film. But before I go on, I went to Walmart and I found the Wizard of Oz film and I had to buy it. I mean, I know I can get this on YouTube, but there's nothing like having the physical media. And I wanted to discuss this film and all the characters in the film and what they had to go through to do this film. Before I go on to talk about the film and the use of asbestos in the film, I want to share the fair use copyright notice. And I used only a couple of clips from the film, very short clips. So that's why I'm showing this on my video. And I want to give credit to the Wizard of Oz film to be able to use these two clips in my video. So now let's jump right in. But before we jump right in, I'm going to remove this because that way I can see better. In any event, now let's talk about the health risks associated to exposure to asbestos. Long-term exposure causes asbestosis. The symptoms are chest pain, tightness, and shortness of breath. Those are very similar symptoms to the ones I had when I was exposed to high levels of formaldehyde gas in a mobile home. I had the chest pain, I had the tightness. The only thing different was that I lost all my oxygen intake, and at that point, I was already floating towards a tunnel of light. All I remember was the oxygen mask coming upon me, and I took a deep breath. So be very grateful when you wake up every morning and you're able to take a breath every morning that you wake up. It also causes mesothelioma, which is a cancer with no cure. It affects the lining of the lungs. It also occurs in the lining of the abdomen or the heart. So that being said, now let's talk about the asbestos use in The Wizard of Oz. So the different types of asbestos are, here's the first one: chrysotile, amosite, crocidolite, tremolite, actinolite, and anthophyllite. I don't know if I said that right, but that was a tongue twister, all right. Now, the one used in the Wizard of Oz film was chrysotile asbestos, and that's the most common form of asbestos, and it can cause several forms of cancer, which I have mentioned a few before. Now, so what scene comes to mind that uses asbestos? Well, let's take a look. The poppy field scene in The Wizard of Oz. But before I play the clip, when you're looking at this clip of the poppy field scene, what the Wicked Witch does is she has this beautiful poppy field scene come in front of all of them: the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, the Cowardly Lion, and Dorothy. And it looks attractive to the eye, but little do they know that it can cause you to go to sleep. Now, once Dorothy starts going to sleep, Glenda, the good witch, she comes out and she starts to make it snow. But guess what that snow is? Just guess what it is. It's chrysotile asbestos. Now, the irony is, really, who is a wicked witch in this film? She's making it snow asbestos. I mean, come on. So the Wicked Witch is trying to prevent them from getting to the Emerald City so that the Cowardly Lion could get courage, the Scarecrow get his brain, the Tin Man get his heart, and Dorothy, she just wants to get back to Kansas to Auntie Em. So, yeah, who is the Wicked Witch? Really, Glenda. I mean, she's making it snow asbestos, and they're covered in asbestos in this clip. I would have never thought of that when I first saw this film. So let's go check out that clip.
It's snowing. No, it isn't.
Okay, this part right here, check this out. Dorothy is covered in asbestos. It's falling upon her. So, when you talk about working conditions, if you think you have bad working conditions, check this out. They were being covered in asbestos. Now, that's bad working conditions. I just thought I'd share that. So, that's what happened in that scene. They were all covered in asbestos. I mean, that's terrible working conditions right there. Now let's talk about other uses of asbestos in the film. So the Scarecrow's costume, that was made of asbestos, and the Wicked Witch's broom, it was made of asbestos. So asbestos is used as a fire retardant. So let's check out this clip. This is a scene in The Wizard of Oz where the Wicked Witch tosses a fireball at the Scarecrow. And look what happens to the Scarecrow. Really nothing. I mean, it's a fire retardant. So let's check this out.
Here, Scarecrow. Wanna play ball?
See that? She threw that fireball, and then the Scarecrow, like, nothing happens to him. He's got asbestos in his costume. It's a fire retardant. So I thought that was pretty cool to watch again. And so now let's talk about some of the characters in The Wizard of Oz. And I'm going to bring out my video here. And the actor I see here is Jack Haley. Jack Haley was a Tin Man, and Jack Haley Jr. was a Tin Man's son. And it is believed that his son had mesothelioma, and mesothelioma is caused by asbestos. And he died of respiratory failure. Now, what happened is that Jack Haley, when he would go home, he would bring asbestos dust to the home, and that could have triggered his cancer if he had mesothelioma, but they never link it to the film. I mean, it could have been that it was linked to having worked in the Wizard of Oz film, but who knows? Now, Ray Bolger is a scarecrow, or was a scarecrow in the film, and he had bladder cancer. Okay. Now, Bert Lahr was the Cowardly Lion, and it was said that he died from pneumonia, but then it is believed he did have cancer and he didn't know it. So it's kind of odd that all of them had cancer, perhaps, and it could have been a correlation to having worked on this film. So that's pretty much all I needed to talk about as it relates to asbestos being used in the Wizard of Oz film.